That's funny. Well, at least you figured it out now.
Alright, we're back live again. Alright, now...
Oh, we are?
Let's see if
Do I have to do the whole
this
hosting?
fixes it. If this doesn't work, I don't know. Then it's OBS. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to check my CPU usage.
Join.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely not that. CPU usage is at 33%.
Okay.
You fixed it.
Okay.
That's so weird. Oh, I see. Okay, subscribe and follow are two different things.
Oh, wait, now I hear an echo on my end.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, me and Setsua are echoing now.
What? Hold on. Let me see.
How is that?
Alright, desktop audio's off. Alright, let me see something here. Setsua, say something.
Testing.
Okay, that's weird. Derpie, say something. I need to prove my theory.
Things.
Okay. I don't know how this is happening. I can't explain it. I'm not going to try and figure it out. But somehow you two are coming through each other's cameras. Like when Setsua talks, he comes through both his and Derp's. When Derp talks, she comes through hers and Setsuya's. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute the cameras, and I'm just going to enable Skype's audio. Try talking now.
Okay, how about this? Testing, Setsua, testing.
Okay. Alright. And Derp, your turn.
Testing things and voices and such.
Okay. Now, let me know when you guys catch up to that point in the stream. Let me know if you're okay now.
Setsua, testing. I'm listening now. Derp, your turn. Testing things and voices and such.
So I hate me, but now it's fixed. But now, why is your audio so low? Yeah, it sounds like now there's no choppiness or anything, but it sounds like you're super low now.
Sounds like I'm low. Alright, I'll fix that. I'll just simply turn my gain up a little bit. Testing. See if that helps a little.
What do you want me to?
Anything? Sound a little bit
I mean,
better?
you're still here. You're still hearable. That's not even a word. My voice is really loud though, so I'm just gonna continue using this.
Okay, I can fix that.
Thank you.
Okay. Alright. Try talking now.
Testing 1 2 3.
Toaster.
The weird thing is, right? My voice is set to be louder than both of yours, technically.
Yeah, and it's opposite.
Yeah,
it's like
I don't
loud.
understand.
You're lower.
Interesting. You know what? I have a very annoying glare going on right in the corner of my screen because of my light. I wish I would have known about that.
There literally looks like there's an angel just like sitting in the top right-hand corner of your screen, just shining down on your ass. All right.
Setsua's in God mode.
Asylum, I believe we have fixed all echoing issues.
Yep. I think so, yeah.
From what I know, I just sound a little bit on the low side.
Yeah, but you kind of dropped down all of our voices, so they should be like at the same tone. So like I'm not super loud and you're super low, so it's fine. Okay. It's good.
All right.
I don't even know where we.
Salem was like, no,
I
you're
don't even
perfect.
know where we
Okay.
left off now.
All right.
Thanks for the compliment.
Well, I know right before everything happened, I was actually talking about Microsoft and their good exclusivity, or consumer-friendly move. Sorry, with Halo being free. Now, there's two sides of this coin. Not only is Halo a good move on their end, but if this rumor about Final Fantasy 16 is true, that means Square Enix is going to have to step it up. Because Microsoft does have an ace up their sleeve that everyone keeps forgetting about. And that's Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star is doing a Realm Reborn, and it doesn't even need to. They're just revamping their game because, hey, our games look like this forever and we think it needs a facelift. We're going to add open world stuff to the experience that you guys already love. And Phantasy Star, remember, Phil Spencer himself said, is eventually going to be available on every platform. We already got crossplay with Xbox, PC, and Steam.
I wonder if it's because, let me see. I wonder if it's because they want to make money. So they want to do the right thing by going, oh, I wonder, we want to do crossplay. Seems everyone wants crossplay. And we want money. So maybe PlayStation should maybe make a chart over at Sony and put money and crossplay and see how it connects. I was being sarcastic.
The graphical charts visually show you that you're doing it wrong. Okay?
Yeah. It's like, oh gee, I wonder why they're doing that, because they want to make money. They want to go with the future of their game. They want to make sure everything looks right for next generation, so they can just keep that money flow coming in. That's why, because people will spend some hard-earned money on Phantasy Star. They will do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're talking about a community that's been waiting for ever for Phantasy Star 2 just to come over to Xbox. Oh yeah, no, they're coming.
See,
they're coming to spend money.
Right, what you say right there. That. See, I'm kind of on the. Not the whole opposite side of the fence, but I mean, Tennek, you saw, I got into Phantasy Star, and then there are certain things, okay, I'll say this exclusively, there are certain, my fingers are twiddling around, there are certain things that are essential to me in an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna sound real petty, okay? But for me, okay, I don't like being discriminated based on the class or race that I choose. That I need a color change pass. What the fuck? What?
That is stupid. There are some things in Phantasy Star, and oh my god, especially Bless, that are just why?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. There's certain things where I'm like, come on, guys. Maybe this kind of thing worked okay in MMORPGs back in the day of late 1990s, early 2000s, where the race that you pick should go with a certain class. They used to do that. I'm guilty of not liking it because I didn't like it, but I'm guilty of doing it because I had no choice. Because back then it was for example, one of the games that I love playing is Dark Age Camelot, but you can't be a troll and expect to hit super fast because you're a big huge troll, so you're gonna hit really slow. Your movements are gonna be really slow. You're gonna hit like a tank, but it's gonna be slow. So I agree with Derp that it's just ridiculous now that they have this now. It's just come on, guys. We just let everybody be what they want to be. Just come on. It's funner that way instead of trying to put everybody down into one little box.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, that's my big thing. One thing too, I was I'm just super skeptical. All right, so I am just prepared. Maybe my age shows a little bit to this with this of just being lied to. Okay, so you pander to what I want to hear, and you show me all these little fancy gadgets and things. You're like, ooh, Shine, you like? And I'm like, yeah, I like it a lot. And you're like, okay, cool. This is what we're going to give you. And I'm like, all right, awesome. And then when it happens, you're like, wait, what? You just catfished me. What the fuck is this? So I I am very skeptical on the. I know they said it's going to be open world, but what kind of open world are we talking about? Like, are we talking? You know what I mean? Like, how open world are we talking? You know, because what I saw from the trailer, it was really nice. It was really nice. But again, it goes back to the catfishing. They show me all these fancy, nice, flashy cinematic trailers. But is the game gonna look like that though? I don't think so. So don't try to lie to me, okay? Like this is where I stand with things like that. Because I saw that Fantasy Star thing, and I'm like, I don't know, because you already lost me with you know, your lack of cosmetics on my part, on my end. There's not lack of cosmetics. All right, don't attack me. All right, Fantasy Star fan base, don't come at my neck. But listen, okay, I just have certain standards. And those standards for me, in my opinion, weren't met. And I liked it. I liked the battle system. I liked it a lot. I love being a summoner. But yeah, it just, those little petty things rubbed me the wrong way. So
I mean, that's understandable. These games, one thing about MMOs is the term RPG, which stands for role playing game, is in an MMO for a reason. Customization in any RPG needs to be as unlimited as a developer can make it.
Thank you. Like, why? I just don't understand. Like, there's these little things in games where they have these restrictions, and I'm just like, I have the dirtiest face. Like, why did you do that? Did you just feel like, nah, you know what? I don't want them to have that. I don't feel like they have the right to have it, because, like, I feel like they almost went out of their way to not include this one little thing that would just, I don't know, you know, just put a little more light on my experience while playing the game, of just feeling like I have a choice, you know, and what my character looks like. Like, all of these little things actually are kind of a big deal, and I feel like devs overlook them a lot. And it's like, come on.
Yeah. Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Okay, I just want to make sure it's still
Nah, don't worry. I'm on paranoid watch, man. You're gonna see my eyes checking OBS on both screens every 5 seconds. It ain't happening.
I've been doing that.
I ain't making my audio mess up again. Yeah.
I'm like triple
Yo,
checking all my
if it
stuff.
breaks, y'all are gonna watch me take this PC apart on stream.
Hey, that's a fun stream, though. You kind of look like, hey, this is how I put this together.
And this is how I take it apart.
You know.
I apologize for my rant there, but like
No.
the consensus of what I was trying to say is, like, I actually have a question for you, Tennek. Was I saw the trailer, I saw them saying, you know, it's going to be more open world in this, but like I said, for me, I'm like, okay, pretty cinematic trailer, but what is it actually going to look like, though? That's where my head's at. So do you think that they're actually really going to fully go through with it actually being open? Like, we're talking about, like, you know, because you said Realm Reborn, like, so I'm thinking like Final Fantasy open world, like I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
My imagination is taking off, okay, because that cinematic trailer did that to me, okay, so they need to realize that impact that cinematic trailer had, and how I feel like, I don't know, from their game now, because like you said, it is really old, so that's why I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. It's really old, hasn't had a revamp, and it just came to the West, right? Because it's actually has had some time over there. They didn't share it until now. They weren't being really nice. That being said, that's why I'm a little skeptical, and like, am I being too much? You know, should I have a little more faith?
Here's where I've set my expectations at, and I'm gonna put it in a reasonable boundary for you. Sega, they are a big corporation, but when people make an MMO and it's a certain way, they do it for a reason. Phantasy Star has been in a instance-based MMORPG for a very long time. Now, after all this testing and everything that they've done in the West, could they have the capacity to go open world? Certainly. Do I think it's going to be as open world as something like Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft? No. And I'm going to tell you what I honestly think. I personally think they're going to go the Neverwinter/Terra route. It's going to be semi-open world, but everything's going to be split into like channels and stuff like that. Things that you see on like Neverwinter, Terra, Bless Unleashed, and those kind of things. I think there'll be things like world bosses, but I think areas will have a limit number of players, like how they are now, how they're limited to like 8 or 12 players. Maybe that limit will go up to 24, 32, or 64. I just don't think it'll be as limitless as something like Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft, unless they make a significant amount of more servers for that game.
See, for me, like, I'm totally fine with that. That's cool. That's an upgrade for me. But that color change pass, though, you know, just generally speaking, I'm looking up into the air as if they're listening to me right now. Get rid of it. Go.
Yeah, that needs to go. There are some, like, Phantasy Star is good, but God, I guess that's all you can say. Every MMO has its issues. There's something wrong or something stupid the developers just have to do or have to toss into the mix.
Like, I understand you want my pockets. I get it. You want to dip into my pockets. I get it. Like, I've accepted that a long time ago playing MMOs that it's going to happen and I'm going to fall victim to it. That's fine. But at least make it, like, you know, what is the word? Like, attractive? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you make me want to stray away when you're like color change pass. I gotta get a pass to change my colors. Like, get the no. That's not. No, stop doing that, please. Every single game out there, stop. Stop
exactly.
it.
Yeah, it's like, man, and that's a really good topic to go into as well. Like, what do y'all think going ahead for the next generation for MMORPGs? What do we think it's going to happen? Like, is there going to be, since we're getting stronger consoles for MMO consoles? I'm trying to put it into words because, like, coffee is slowly going away from me. Unfortunately, I got to get more. What do we think is going to happen? Like, are these games just going to get way more huge and awesome looking and bigger lands and way more places to explore and things like that? Or are we just going to stay into this, like, kind of Terra-ish kind of landscape where it's like you have a little bit of open world kind of right here, but you're gonna have a long loading screen in the next one, kind of like Anthem or Destiny, things like that. Hopefully I said that right.
Oh, you did. I'll go ahead and start and tackle this one. And you guys know I'm the console MMO guy, and one thing I try to do with all of my videos, content, everything I make and say on here, but I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't think much of anything is going to change next generation. And the reason for that is because the consoles haven't changed enough. The generational leap between PS4 and PS5, Xbox One, especially Xbox One X and Series X, it is not that big of a change at all. Now, the SSDs in them and everything, will that help loading and stuff like that? Sure. But in all reality, name one game you've seen from next gen that doesn't look like something you'd see on a console today with ray tracing added.
I see, yeah.
Every game I saw at the PS5 conference, at the Xbox One, all that stuff looks current gen. Everything.
It does. Yeah.
And people are like, oh, these cinematic trailers, and it's not a cinematic trailer. It's gameplay minus UI. I can do this. I can do the same damn thing. I do it with montages all the time. Just turn the UI off and swing your sword around. It looks just as fancy as a gameplay trailer.
You know, Wolf said something that I agree with as well here in the chat. We need more opportunities for MMO games on console for next generation. We need more opportunities for MMOs to come over to console. We just don't have enough MMOs for companies to even take us serious. Like, the most serious MMO that I could think of that a company would look at is probably Final Fantasy 14 and Elder Scrolls Online.
Yep.
And actually Black Desert as well, because they're...
Black Desert's solid.
Yeah.
Despite my opinion and how much I hate the PvP thing, Black Desert is one of the solid. If I had to put all three of the top ones on console we got in a row right now, it'd be Final Fantasy 14, Phantasy Star, and Black Desert.
Yeah, I agree. Like, that's like that. Those like other companies would look at those three games and be like, okay, there's a chance for to make money. And if you look at Black Desert, their profits went up because people got it on console and said, "Hey, I love it. Let me spend money on it," and they did. And that's basically what happened with like ESO. Like, even though it's not crossplay, people still went out and bought it. Even I'll dip back into it once in a blue moon. Like, I have all the expansions except for the newest one, and so it's just like, man, we need more opportunities. Really great example here on Twitter. I think we were talking about it, Tennek. Why is not Star Wars: The Old Republic MMO not on console? Makes no damn sense.
There's no excuse for that. Like, these developers, here's the thing, and like you were asking earlier, you were wondering if the next generation is going to change anything. And here's your proof that they've had this power all this time. And everyone, sink this in. Look me dead in my eyes when I tell you all this. Remind yourselves. This is how I know shit ain't going to change. Final Fantasy 14 ran on a PS3.
Yep.
It did.
A PlayStation 3.
Yes. PlayStation 3.
When they chose to stop, basically cut it out of the picture when they revamped.
It was it was right after Heaven's Ward when they were going into Stormblood.
Yep, and they were like, okay, they gave everyone a window of time to transfer over, which I graciously appreciated. And yeah. I mean, not only that, but there's plenty of things that are just like, I don't know. This goes a little off topic to, game on a console, but it's just like the same thing like crossplay. It was always available to do. Everyone's thinking that it's just this crazy thing that they have to do, but like, Fortnite accidentally just flipped on a fucking switch and there you go, it's on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not, it's there. And that's why I agree with you that we don't see that not much is going to change, because it's not like these things are not already in place to do. It's there. It's there.
Yeah, it's been there. Final Fantasy 11, it ran on PS2 crossplay with 360 and PC.
Yep.
The original Phantasy Star Online was a Dreamcast game on dial-up internet.
Yeah, I remember playing that bad boy.
What is like what's our excuse for PS4, PS5, Series X, and Xbox One?
Money.
There's no excuse.
How much closer to PC do we gotta get?
It's stubbornness from certain people and just like pride. Even sometimes I think Sony's too prideful.
I feel like that's a lot to do with it. Like just being like, no, we're the better ones, and it's just like, we don't give a shit. We just want to play with our friends. All right, take notes.
I just want to play. I want to play with everybody. I don't care what console or system, or I don't even care if someone's on a damn phone. If you're not causing like a train wreck in a raid, for example, I don't care what you're playing on. Play on a damn toaster for all I care. If it's crossplay, we're all doing good. There's no disconnects. There's like, no one's lagging and everything's going good. We all could just play and chill together.
Yeah, if you can manage to do that on a toaster, then fucking do it. I'm not stopping you.
Well, exactly. And that's speaking of phones, that's another reason I know shit ain't gonna change. And I know consoles are not the excuse anymore. Mobile phones have more MMO options than we do.
Yeah, it's so money grab. It makes me want to.
This stupid Nintendo Switch right here in my hand has the same chip a mobile phone does. They bringing any MMOs here? Nope, because it's a console.
Yep.
Because they swear it won't work. Yep. And don't give me that button crap. Because Final Fantasy 14's had what, 3 or 4 expansions now, and all those moves still work on a PS4 controller.
Yeah, they have shortcuts where you can, like, which I just recently, by the way, I sound like really old timer for this, but I never use the shortcuts on the crossbars when using the controller. I just standardly switched over to my other crossbar and took a very long time. Okay, so I just recently started using the shortcuts where you can either hold LT RT or opposite way around to transition to a shorter shortcut bar. That is just awesome. This is amazing. And that's been there since like the dawn of time. I just never used it until recently. New to me.
It's been there since the PS3 version. I used to use it.
Yeah, it's like same thing with Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 was supposed to be on console like a long time ago. They even had it at an E3 press conference years and years and years ago. Was like, yeah, we're also thinking about going on console too when the PS4 comes out. That's how long ago this was. And
where are they
and
at?
it just, yeah, it never happened. And it's like, if people will bring it up once in a while, and some news will come up about them still thinking about it. It's like, why are you thinking about it? Just look where, like, if you're concerned with money, which you should be because it's a business, okay, uh, you can't fault them for that. If you're concerned with money, just look at all the other MMOs that have came over to console and just take notes. How much, like, is like a large amount of people still playing that game? How much money are they making? Black Desert will show you a lot of people are playing and a lot of people are spending that money. Uh, I mean, heck, even I spent like $100, no, $150 almost on Bless Unleashed, which I regret doing, but that's a personal problem. That's not a problem that the company needs to worry about because they got the money. But like, I spent $150 on that MMO. Imagine what I would spend on if I liked the game for a lot longer. Like, I would continue to keep on spending money on it. I came from the old school MMO days where I paid a subscription with no market. Like, I literally got my very first job. This is how much MMOs have meant, like, money wise. Like, I literally got my very first job at 14 years old just to play Dark Age of Camelot with my friends for like $10 a month, I think it was back then. But it's like, the companies need to look at this. Like, console gamers are looking to spend money. They're not just a bunch of kids throwing stuff at around and going, I don't have money to spend on anything. I mean, damn, like, if that's the problem, at least I don't know, but it's just really annoying. Like, not Final Fantasy, but Star Wars: The Old Republic should have been on PlayStation 4 and Xbox. There's some problems with the Star Wars game, I will be honest, there is, but it's not problems that you can't fix. And putting it on console would have been just fine. You would have just been playing on a slightly lower graphics setting, basically, which is not a big deal. It's like World of Warcraft. Oh my God, there's a one that's number one. Why is World of Warcraft? World of Warcraft could have been on a freaking PS3.
Yeah, no.
Maybe even a PS2.
Well, World of Warcraft, we're gonna talk about that because I got something to tell y'all. I just ain't been reporting on it.
Okay, yeah, because like, I'm so surprised World of Warcraft's not on there. Like, it should have been there a long time ago. It's ridiculous. A lot of these companies are just not taking notes on this, and if they are, they're just like taking notes for a little bit and then they just toss it away somewhere.
Or if they feel like, oh, this is too much effort and it's not going to show an immediate outcome. I feel like that's what it boils down to. Oh, it's not going to give us an immediate profit, so we're not going to do it. And they don't really like look at what it can bring. Going back to like the first question today of the conversation when you had asked like, what do you want to see moving forward, like I don't want to sound like, crazy Final Fantasy 14 fanboy pleb or whatever, but realistically, it's just like, take fucking notes, guys. Final Fantasy 14.
No, you have mega doing everything right.
Are primal servers. Yeah, you have mega servers that are primal servers, and guess what you could do? Like, there's a mega server and there's servers within it, and you can go and visit your friends. You're not restricted to that one server that you got. And now, granted, it was like that until they changed it. So there's that. Not only that, but there's one thing that Black Desert,
the free server transfers.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah,
the server transfers. Well, they're not free, but you have to pay for it. But either way, that goes back to what Setsua was saying, is that if you put it there, we're gonna buy it. You know what I mean? And not only that, when it comes to MMOs, like, I had so many things. Like, I was like reeling over it as you guys are talking. I'm like, oh, there's this, and like you were talking more, I was like, oh my God, and there's this too. So, as you were saying, like the longevity of an MMO, all right? We change as humans, what we want to do, what we want to spend our money on, that changes, right? So why restrict us to what we first chose, whether it be a server or whatever, and later on down the line, let's say, oh, I want to change to this server because my friends are over here. Oh, what? Look, I can't because the game's not letting me. Like, you don't realize that you can gain a profit from that by not restricting your players. Like, let them
Exactly.
Like, ease off, like, be a little more, like, have a little more leisure to those things, and you would actually see a profit come out of that. Because look at what Final Fantasy does. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
add, and if they don't have it, they look in that area and like, oh, this is pretty popular. Let's, give something to the community where they can make use of this. Crossword link shells. You can talk to your friends and chat without being on the same server. So forth, so on. Like, there's so many little things like that go over the heads of devs. And it's just like, we would, like, that's what it is. We would spend money for that. But the more you restrict us, the less money we won't even want to bother with it. And that's what kills a game. You notice it dies down. It's because you're not feeding into the longevity of the game. Like, that's what you need to do. It's ever changing. Humans are ever changing. What we want is ever changing. Go with that. Like,
it's like it's like a lot of like the older MMOs change as well to kind of go with everybody. Why can't things just change in general, like within the game? Like, that's one thing I hated about Bless Unleashed. It annoyed me so much. Why can I not be an elf warrior or a crusader, whatever it was? I don't care what it was.
Their race locking there is so stupid.
It pissed me off.
There's worse than terrorists.
No sense.
That's another point. Race locking. Like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it.
It's so annoying. It's like, look, if I'm playing a fantasy game, in my opinion, I am going to want to be something that's not human. That's just how I like to play personally. I prefer to be an elf. I prefer to be an elf in a fantasy world. When it comes to sci-fi, I prefer to be an alien of some kind, whatever they have going on there. Even if it's a hybrid of like half alien, half human, or half elf, half human, I'll be that. But no, I had to be, just human. And I was like, okay.
Oh, you want to be a mage? You have to be an elf. That's it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of racist too, Bless Unleashed. Why is it like always with elves or always like the magic people? They can never pick up a sword. They're not that dainty. I say that jokingly, but it's kind of true. They do kind of follow that trope. But they're like, oh, an elf? No, you can't wield a sword with a big shield. Well, why not? Well, because look at you. It's like, that's mean. But it's or like the humans have to be like some greedy barbaric, like, look at me.
Yeah, Neverwinter kind of did the same thing, and they made me mad with that because with Neverwinter it's bad too. It's not as bad, but your race gives you certain advantages and stats and stuff like that. So there are people out there making guides saying, well, certain races should go with certain classes. It's not gender and race locking, but you might as well because of the attribute bonuses. And when I made my guide straight up, what race goes with which class, I told people straight at the beginning, play what race you want with whatever class. Screw these stats. It's an RPG. It should be about, you looking how you want to look. For example, I picked an elf, and I went ahead and I picked a greatsword class. And I told people, you want to know why? I like elves, and I like greatswords. That's it, period. It ain't the best benefit for my class, but I don't care.
Yeah, honestly, I don't care. Thank you, Drunken Chewy. Yes, like, I don't like playing humans. It sucks. It's like, I'm a human. I like myself. That's cool. But if I'm playing in a fantasy world, I want to be an elf with a two-handed sword that could just like wreck stuff across the whole entire landscape. That's what I want to do. Like, I don't want to be some like magic user that has like a little stick in its hand going, "Woo, look at me!" Like, I don't want to do that with my elf. I don't want to do that. I'll do that.
Exactly.
With, like,
and that's the point. And that's the consensus around what we're talking about is just these games giving players just more of a choice in whatever you want to do, because that's what it's there for. Like, why restrict your, you know what I mean? Like, why almost put a thumb on your players? Like, no, you have to do it this way. Like, why? Why?
Yeah.
Just let.
Yeah, it's like, man, like,
Isaac, the audio is a little low. It is a little low. I'm sorry. It's just we had a lot of technological issues earlier. Like, we were echoing, and then we weren't echoing, and then Tennek's audio was echoing and choppy, and it was just nuts. Right now is like the most stable that we've got it. So I'm so sorry. You have to like lean in. and try to speak up a little bit.
Yeah,
But
we'll
yeah, it's
get the volume thing sorted out. I promise. I'm just happy it's running as smooth as it is, because earlier was, oh man, just crazy.
It was it, and yes, Warden, you are correct.
God,
I do love D&D for that reason. In D&D, you can be anything you want, and that's how it should be. In D&D, I could literally sit down with a piece of paper, and if I want to be half elf, half goblin, and 3/4 human, I can do it.
I remember
Like,
I was.
I can do
The
it.
first time I ever played D&D was years ago. It was with friends, and like I had no idea what I was doing, but they were like, make a character. I was like, really cool. So I made this shaman kitsune, and she would disguise herself as an old person. Okay, she'd be super old, like super. I'm talking about like wrinkly
Oh,
old Gandalf coat and everything, man. And she had her kitsune ball, and there's an adventure that spiked out because someone stole my fucking ball, and I wasn't happy about it. It was great. It was a good time. Off topic. Sorry.
yeah. No, that's not off topic. That's like pretty much what we're looking for in our MMOs. That's how MMORPGs began, was like this idea of anything happening in a full-fledged world with people around you. That's the history of MMOs, was like everyone sitting down going, why can't I do this with an actual avatar character? It's like you want to be everything, but then the Eastern MMOs have different ideas, I guess, of like gender locking everything, class locking this, locking that, locking that. It's like,
We actually missed
why?
a comment a little earlier, but I actually wanted to point it out because this is something I'm pretty sure that I had said in our like last episode was Dynamic Wolf said for Series X they need to make more of a footnote in Japan to get more JRPGs and MMOs.
Yes,
and I agree. I completely agree with that. I didn't say that like in its entirety our last episode, but I had said something along the lines of, if I remember right, or if it was just a completely different conversation, I don't know. I recall saying that Xbox and PS, right, when we look at when they first started, I'm talking about like the very first like fat consoles, right? Xbox was more of a competitive first-person shooter type deal. Like they had their own set of games that it revolved around, and then PlayStation was more of your JRPGs, right? Like that's because I was a total PS fan, girl, boy, whatever.
I was too.
Like yeah, like completely and utterly, and then that changed.
I came to Xbox this generation.
Yeah, no, literally, me too. And it changed over the course of time because everything we've talked about before. And then it boils down to exactly what Dynamic Wolf said. It just we need more of a footnote to start bringing things over in Xbox, and I really do think that is happening. I think honestly that's happening faster than PS saying anything about fucking crossplay. Because I mean, look at Phantasy Star on Xbox, boom, proof right there. Like it's happening. PlayStation crossplay, not so much. They lie to me. Sorry.
Yeah. No, they do. They got, like, look at the Game Pass even. Like, I don't want to just, like, jump on PlayStation too much, but at the same time, they're doing things that kind of deserve for them to be kind of, like, I don't want to say crapped on, but, like, just kind of, like, shaken and be like, wake up, because this is where it's going. Like, it's just, like, even Game Pass, you could just download the game and be like a whole bunch of games, boom, done. Even backwards compatibility, which PlayStation was like, oh, I don't know, guys. Like, we'll try, we'll see.
Oh my God,
it's like
y'all haven't made classics.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like with MMOs, I really hope, at least for Microsoft, they push that objective of getting MMOs on consoles. That's what I hope, because here we are. We're an MMO console-based podcast, and that's what we're pushing for. We want these MMOs on our consoles for a reason, because we understand that there's money here to be made. Why don't the businesses understand that? It doesn't make sense. If we're just three people just sitting here chilling talking about console MMOs, knowing that these big multi-billion-dollar companies can make money, why are they not noticing it themselves? Or they just don't care, or they just don't want to take the risk. Right now, I understand, because of this whole like COVID thing going on, I understand right now it's kind of like 50-50, kind of shaky, because businesses are losing money right now. So right now I understand. but in the past, it made no sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like these games should have came out. Like, I could think of 3 games right now, MMOs that should have came out on console that would have done great a long time ago and still done great right now, with Star Wars, Guild Wars 2, and World of Warcraft. Those are the big ones. Like, you know why Final Fantasy took the #1 spot from some? It might be different now, but last time I looked, Final Fantasy 14 took the #1 spot away from World of Warcraft on a subscription base, because they went to console. They didn't just stay on PC. They went, okay, let's put it on PS3. Let's put it on PlayStation 4. It's going to Xbox. I know it is, just at some point in life, I guess. And yeah, and this is why. Because they went from a little bit of fan base can only play it to massive amount of people can play it. And now they're the #1 subscription-based MMO. And they don't even really need a they don't need to go free to play. Because if they did, that would suck. I don't want it to go to free to play. I like how they have their subscription base, and it could come to console easily. You know what? Hell, Microsoft is literally throwing money at people.
Yeah.
Like, they literally are throwing money at people. It's like, I look how much they paid Ninja, for example, just to come to Mixer. They paid him, like, was it like $30 million? They're throwing money at people. So
for real, and then Mixer didn't work, and they're like, okay.
Yeah,
well,
and
there's that.
And they let him keep the money. They didn't let him. He could have. They already paid him. But yeah, they just said,
take that back. I don't think they can just like knock on his door and be like, hey, can we like have that back? Because that may have been a mistake.
Yeah. It hurts my head thinking like.
Dude, I don't blame you. I think about this with every single video, every time I upload something on my channel. And I even got a series on the channel where I cover certain games, and I ask, why is this not on console? Another PC MMORPG just came out called V4. Me, Aki, and Asylum were playing it about a week ago, and PC and mobile. Yep. The controls of the game are literally built in the shape of a controller, so it works on mobile.
Oh,
why did you not consider that for console?
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like,
it works on mobile. You could even get it on a Switch.
Yeah. Put the it's like my head. I just, it doesn't wrap around it. Like,
mine does, just not in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know where my brain goes? Microtransactions. That's why they don't do it, because you can't do as many fucking microtransactions as you can on mobile. Like, you can just literally rail people with microtransactions for every little fucking thing, but that wouldn't be possible on console. It just, they wouldn't allow it. It just wouldn't. They'd be like, no, you're not charging someone this amount of money to fucking add a flower to their hair or something. I don't even know. Actually, they do that, but that's, I don't know. I couldn't think of a direct analogy, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, they literally like, oh, you want to remove this ad off your screen? Pay me $5.
Exactly. Nice. Yeah, a lot of that stuff ain't gonna fly on console.
Yeah, it's not. It's ridiculous, and I tell you, it needs to change. So yeah, for next generation.
Here's my thing with that, and I don't even mean to cut you off, Cecilia, but if they want to charge for those stupid things, fine. Make the games free to play on PC and mobile, because you can get your little advertisement revenue money. Give console a small entry fee.
Yeah.
If it's free to play on PC and mobile, make it $10, $15 on console.
Yeah.
Fine. Problem solved. You'll get your monetization from it that way.
And heck, look at like what Microsoft doing with Game Pass. They will literally pay people, like businesses. They will pay you just to get on their Game Pass service. Like, if you're EA, for example, because God knows they love money too much, to where it's horrible things that they do. But I believe, was it BioWare has Star Wars: The Old Republic. Microsoft could easily be like, hey, here $40, put it for free on our Game Pass. For example, $40 is probably not enough, but just for an example. they'd go, oh, okay, yeah, because now we don't have to really worry about the money part as much for people to play, like to like pay a whole bunch of money for it. Now, obviously, people are gonna pay anyways for certain things. I would if Star Wars: The Republic came. Hell, give me a special edition, whatever, and I'll pay $100. Like I'll save up for it, but I'll pay for it. But it's just like, it's yeah, it's just my head hurts. They don't think about this because right now, in a weird way, take advantage of what Microsoft is doing. Take advantage. Sit there and go, okay, how about like they buy a whole bunch of stuff and we go, oh great, now two businesses are basically getting a bunch of money in revenue because now Microsoft just paid company A to put their MMO in there for free when it would have been subscription anyways. So it's just in my head is trying to put all the pieces together, and it's just like, man, I don't. If I was a company and Microsoft was doing this, and I noticed that they were throwing money at people, I'd be like, hey, I got an MMO for you, like, give me money. Like, I would love to do that.
Right.
Give me money, take my game.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and then like I'll get customers from that, and then those customers will then spend even more money, and then now I'm happy. Microsoft's happy that they got a game, and I'm happy because I got money and a fan base. So, but yeah, I hope for next generation they really wise up to it, and we'll see what happens. And for right now, I would actually we have a little something from our sponsors at ProSeat, which by the way, oh man, I've been sitting in this chair for the past 2 hours. I think it's been about, and it doesn't feel right. It feels kind of weird. Speaking of ProSeats, so oh man, so Tennek, can you tell me where I would probably get a ProSeat?
Honestly, if you want a decent gaming chair like this nice little, let me duck my head just right so you guys can see it.
There we go.
Nice little one I got here. Just visit opseat.com. They are actually a sponsor of my channel and our sponsor for today's podcast. You can use an affiliate link, and you can also use my affiliate code, which is just Tennek127, and get a discount off of any OP seat you want, and desks too.
Discount and proper cushion for the cheeks.
Exactly.
That's right.
Go get it.
I need to get it. I tell you what, this chair ain't no joke. It's just a basic computer chair, but if I go to ProSeats and get a chair, that's where I want to go.
Yep, and I'm a giant 6'5" dude, and I've been sitting in this same chair for 2 years, and it's not broken. It's still fine. So trust me.
It's
adorable.
Still has a nice little cushion to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like what I have is like a $20 basic, your average like chair. The cushion is gone. Right now, the cushion is just like there. It's not really cushion anymore. I've had it for years. But yeah, definitely ProSeats.com. All right, that's where I'll go. Thanks, Tennek. I appreciate the sponsorship right there for that. Ouch.
Anytime.
Sorry, I kind of hurt myself a little bit. I'm okay. But so yeah, we'll go to our next topic now.
Before I move on to my topic, Isaac says, hold on, let me take a sip before I read this. I mean, one thing I've learned a lot from people on console and in general, but mainly console, is that people don't like heavy grinds. Not saying this for everybody like you guys, but kind of in the small minority of people who stick to those type of games. So yeah, we're definitely in that minority. We're like, grind, what's that? Anyway, people on console would rather play. Like, are you kidding me? Like in the past, like what was it, like 7 some odd? I don't know. Like past 24 hours, I done got my scholar from like level something to like almost 80. We're not gonna talk about it. I have issues. Okay. Anyway, people on console would rather play games like COD, Halo, and Fortnite for a quick, casual, laid-back experience. Very true. Solid facts.
Yep.
It's kind of the nature of the beast. Destiny and Warframe does well because it showers you in gear and loot and drops you up, and most other MMOs that I currently play. Sticks you in dungeons for hours for one piece of gear. Agreed. Agreed. This is a very big, and this is why I personally feel like, this is just for me, I personally feel like Final Fantasy, I'm going back again, I sound like a play, I'm sorry, forgive me guys, my hands is in praying stance, but literally, like, this is why I feel like Final Fantasy would thrive really well on Xbox, because it's all right, it meets in the middle. It is nowhere near, because BDO came to Xbox, I was excited for it, but then when it dawned upon me the amount of grind that you have to do in that fucking game, yeah. No, I did not. Yeah, no, all set. So and you know, whereas like hours of, and you know, those that want dungeon or raid content, Black Desert is primarily solo grind based. It's kind of like, yeah, you play with your friends, or you do, you know, the Blood Altar that came out, but that's just, you don't have, you know, dungeons upon dungeons and raids to do with groups of people. It's mostly single oriented grind. Literally.
That's probably Black Desert's biggest problem, honestly, because if you could do a lot more of those grinds with your friends, I guarantee
you can do it as
it would.
But it's kind of actually more painful than it is sufficient unless you have a full group. Like, you don't, you actually get less XP, and it's painful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I completely agree. Like, you just need something that's in the middle that caters to both the casual play and the hardcore grinders. You gotta, and it's possible. It's very possible to balance the scale, to make both happy, at least. Well, I mean, I feel like no one's ever happy, you know? It's ever ongoing thing.
Never.
Our needs are ever changing, but it seems a balance when you kind of sit right in the middle, where you give the option. Oh, you want to play casually? Well, here you go. Oh, wait, you're a hardcore grinder with no fucking life like me? Okay, well, here you go. Here's that. So, like, yeah, we definitely need more of that on console rather than the two extremes, because I feel like there's just extremes, but there's no middle on both sides. But anyway, sorry.
No. That's a good point, though. I mean, that's one of the things about grinding, is kind of just, it's tiring sometimes, but at the same time, I like it as well. It really depends on the game. Like, if I really like it and it's a good MMO, I will grind.
I mean, I don't care. It could be your favorite, but it always depends. Like, you know, are you in a mood to grind solo and do something, or are you in a mood to grind with people, like, and doing things? Like, there's always, you know, like, that's why everyone wakes up feeling different every day, and MMO gotta kind of hit that spot. You know, like, otherwise you just get bored with it. So
you do. It's true. And but yeah, I'm gonna go into our next topic. And Derp, this is your main topic right here, is RPGs, oldies and classics, and how do you like the ones that you personally love, or that you feel like it was ahead of its time? A good example, Derp, is me and you always talk about this one, is Chrono Cross.
Yeah.
We both love it. It gets a lot of hate. We both think it's like probably one of the better, you know, of the two, between Chrono Trigger versus Chrono Cross. We're Team Chrono Cross, and it was ahead of its time. It did a lot of the stuff ahead of its time. But I'll go ahead and let you take that one, Derp. You lead us into that battle.
Okay, awesome. So Chrono Cross, like you said, that's definitely. I'm just gonna sit with one, because I want you guys to kind of throw, you know, your opinions and your choices out there as well. And I'm gonna stick with Chrono Cross. I personally, like, I feel like that was like one of the first games that really stuck with me. You know, like, it's not the first game I picked up. First controller I picked up was like Sega Genesis Sonic on my grandpa's. Like, you know, like, I saw my grandpa playing it and I was like, oh, what's this? This is cool, you know. But Sega Frontier was great. Exactly. So the one that really stuck with me, though, the one that I just remember me sitting in the dark with the TV shining off my face, and I'm just warped into it for hours. Like, nothing around me exists but this game I am into. I'm not even Derp anymore. I'm Surge. Who are you? Like, you know, that game enveloped me so much. I feel like it was so ahead of its time. If you guys don't know what Chrono Cross is, if you don't even know what I'm speaking of, look it up. Okay, Chrono Cross, PS1. It was on a greatest hits. It had the green strip. Okay, the green strip of approval. But it never made it anywhere, and it's because like a lot of people were diehard. All right, I'm sorry for those that are. I'm not coming at you in any way, okay? But y'all came at my game, all right? Yeah, the fans of Chrono Trigger were like, this doesn't look like Chrono Trigger. This doesn't mention Chrono Trigger enough. This isn't a proper sequel. All sorts of other nonsense that I don't even care about. Like, it pained me to read that stuff, but I guess that's kind of why it wasn't so popular. Maybe that strayed other people from playing it. I don't know, but for me, I feel like it was ahead of its time. I keep saying that, but look at the cutscenes. The cutscenes were beautiful, and like the replay value. I don't know. Just games don't smack like this anymore now, guys. I don't feel it for games anymore, and like it's like a game now. It could be really good, right? But it's so long, and I'm not saying this in a complaining way. I know it sounds super complaining, but it's so long to the point where you don't kind of even want to replay it because you spent half a year on that shit, like just that game, you know. And but this, I remember Chrono Cross specifically. It was like it wasn't short to the point where you're just like, oh, I played it, oh, I'm done, you know. You had a really good playthrough, but it provided enough for you to want to play again. There was a multitude of different characters that, you know, there would be an instance where you would get a character in your party, you know, you'd win them over and they join you, but that would actually close off a path to a different character. So you can no longer get them in your party, you know, and they might just end up being your favorite, and you might just end up being like, well, fuck. So a lot of the stories and the depths and the interaction, the character development for several different characters, not just the main character. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going on and on and on about this, but Chrono Cross, like, I feel like it does not need to be remastered. I feel like it needs to be remade. And why I say that is because of the fight system. I feel like in today's age, like, for example, what they did a lot, where how they altered Final Fantasy's fight system, you know, that's how it kind of changed throughout the course of time. It still kind of felt turn for turn, but it had more of a real-time feel to it. You see what I'm saying?
It's like a Star Ocean almost.
Yes, exactly. So if they went more of that route with the remake with Chrono Cross and still kept how, like, I don't know if you guys remember, if any of those who played, when you use certain moves, every move had a certain element. And it almost looked like a Wi-Fi bar at the top left. But there was and every time you would use an element, let's say red, it would change that bar, one of the bars, to red. And it would change the field's color. And that would, I'm not going to go too far into it, but that would, you know, affect your battle, in the course of battle, and what you would do and how you would go about executing your moves. Now, if you had that same concept, but in real time, and the way that things are going, oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, and like the cutscenes then were amazing. I can only imagine now. The cinematics were amazing. The story, amazing. Like, everything was about it was just beautiful. I sound so biased, but it needs to be remade. And I feel like it's never gonna happen though, because it has such a low, you know, like, not everyone's crazy about it. Like, you know, obviously Final Fantasy VII saw a remake before anything, but I just hope that one day it would be considered, that they would look back in their dusty ass folder and be like, we don't really want to make anything new, but we need money, so let's go revive something, you know, and quote unquote make
it's heavily requested too.
Please.
Yeah, it needs to happen. I love that game. Like me and Derp have talked about this like in depth. Like, Chrono Cross is just a game that
turn heads.
Because of
it's lackluster that games don't bring anymore. They don't. Like, I was genuinely sad to, and this is really fucked up. This sounds really messed up, okay? But you know a game is really good if when you finish it, you feel like, what the fuck do I do with my life now? You know what I mean? Like, that feeling that a game gives you when you complete it, or like, you reach the end, that means you know that game got to you. It was good. It was fucking good. If a game doesn't give you that feeling when it ends, all right, it wasn't that great. Okay, you don't, whatever. You brush that to the side, but that was one of them games. Dad, exactly.
There's like two games that I have in mind, and I will say it's like Final Fantasy Tactics is one of the big ones that I love.
Setsuya. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but one of the raids in Final Fantasy 14 is based off of tactics, and it's amazing. Oh my god.
Son of a bitch.
Yo, I just saw his whole face go into disbelief.
Music and everything. Like I had goosebumps when I was like, wait, what is this? I was like, is this tactics? Oh my god, I
He just sat there in like shock.
I lost my shit.
I didn't mean come on, man.
I'm sorry to do that to you. I couldn't.
And I can't even play it right now either. Damn. Oh man, I can't even play it because it's not on Xbox. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is
damn it.
Now you bring it up.
Phil, hurry up, make it happen.
But yeah. It's like, man, but yeah, it's gonna be Final Fantasy Tactics and hopefully I say it right. Suikoden. I think it's called Suikoden, but I call it Suikoden. It's like a JRPG. It's it's like JRPG. It's great, really good game, really fun. But at one point, I think of part 4 or 5, it completely died off. They screwed it up. I don't know what they did. I don't know. People just did not like the 4th one. I think it was. Yes, they just didn't like it. They messed up the story. They messed up the rune system. They messed up the combat. They messed up how you get characters. And Suikoden just fell to the side, unfortunately. Like the one that it was part 5 that they messed up on, I believe. Because like part 4 was the one about the sun cult type thing, and part 3 was about like a massive war between factions. And you could be a mercenary, or you could be this knight named Chris, which she was really good, but she was like doing something crazy. I'm trying to remember the story. Like she was part of these like knight faction kingdom, and it was great. Like they went over there and they slaughtered this little small village. That part wasn't great, but the cinematic was pretty cool. And they slaughtered them, not thinking, like the fact that they slaughtered them wasn't great. They slaughtered them and left, and she didn't know that they did that. Like she was at headquarters just chilling, and her team basically was like, let's go kill a bunch of villagers. And so then you have this other crew, which is part of like these tribes people. And it was a great game. And then Suikoden fell to the wayside, unfortunately. Kind of like Chrono Cross. Like it just fell. It's just gone. Like some people, they'll mention it once in a blue moon, and then everyone gets like quiet, and then nothing ever happens. And it's like, I can't spell slaughter without laughter.
Nice, I like that.
Oh man, it's true. Well, the funny part is when you do slaughter, you do laugh at the same time. So yeah, but
so yeah. Would you want it to be remastered or remade? Because there's a few of them. Because I know I don't even know how to pronounce it. There's like 3, right?
5. No,
9?
There's like 5. There's 5.
5. Oh, I missed
that. There's like 5 because part 4 was the one that people didn't like, and then they came out with part 5 and no one cared. I think that's how it went. But 3 was the best one. A lot of people love part 3. Part 3, I would just want it to be remade because it doesn't need to be like done completely. Like just up the graphics, don't touch nothing else. Combat.
Oh, okay. So you want it remastered? Remastered.
Yeah, remastered. Yeah. Sorry, remastered. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
No,
like the coffee's completely gone out of me. Just remastered. Like just up the graphics, make it look pretty, and put a nice little bow on it and present it. That's it. Because everything else, it's a masterpiece. Other than that, I like the rune system. I like the combat system. Nothing else needs to be changed. Just remastered that bad boy and let it go. Like Final Fantasy Tactics, just remastered. Like that's it. You don't need to do anything
Yeah,
else.
I feel like if you remade it, you'd take away from the
mess
genuity that tactics is. Yeah, you don't touch that.
Though I will say one thing though that I would like to add into tactics is the option to actually go with. I believe it your friend that went to the other faction, or he did some kind of like rebellion where you weren't for it. Like you had to like it seemed like you were about to pick because you're at a crossroads to go with your friend to support this rebellion, or just like kind of go somewhere else and continue on following the empire or something. It's really confusing, like because like a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics is to deal with politics. Like your master, the one that trained you, you have to end up fighting him at some point, I believe. This older knight guy, Shadow Knight or something like that. It's really fun. I would just like want it remastered, but at the same time, like part of me would love to pick the other side, but I don't want it touched at the same time. I would just like the option, but at the same time, I don't want them to give me that option because I'm afraid they'll mess it up. So it's like, oh, but yeah, that's What about you, Tennek? What are your games that you have in mind?
There's one. Not a lot of people have heard of this one. It did make it to greatest hits, but it wasn't very popular. Back in I want to say it was the late '90s. Square Enix had a action RPG called Brave Fencer Musashi.
I did hear that actually, and that was when they were they SquareSoft at that time?
Yeah, they were SquareSoft at that time.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, I did hear.
Say
about
that again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Brave Fencer Musashi.
Yep.
It was like a top-down action RPG, a hack and slash kind of game. They made a sequel to it on PS2 called Samurai Legend Musashi. That one didn't do very well, and I think they kind of just like gave up on it after that.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but I would love for that game to be remastered. It's like a big part of my childhood. Played it for hours.
I like the art.
Got it in one of those damn PlayStation Magazine demo discs. I would literally just replay the demo all day, every day until I finally got the full game. It was amazing.
Sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead, Derp. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I've been linking what we've been talking about in stream, just in case, because I had no idea what Tennek just mentioned, so I went and looked it up and I see it, so I link it in stream just in case anyone is like me and like what is this, you know?
Okay.
Putting it there.
Although it looks like a whole bunch of stars right now.
Hold on. How do I fix that?
Oh, I think the link. Because some people do like kind of join servers and then post some naughty stuff. Oh man, but yeah, I agree. Like I remember seeing that game and playing a little bit of it. But yeah, I do remember because like SquareSoft before they became Square Enix, man, that was like a whole thing. Like I remember because like Star Ocean was Tri-Ace at one point, naming all these companies that either merged or they no longer exist. But I believe it was like Tri-Ace, and then when SquareSoft joined together with Tri-Ace, and they became Square Enix joined with Tri-Ace and became SquareSoft. But let me double check that though.
Okay, Derp, you should be able to post links now with no issues.
Yeah, Tri-Ace became no, they were Enix. Sorry, not Tri-Ace. That's how they got it. Okay, SquareSoft had Final Fantasy and the Musashi, and then Enix. I was just buying time, Tennek. Sorry, why you did that? So we won't have like dead.
Oh no, you're okay.
But Star Ocean was on Enix, and Valkyrie Profile as well, and then SquareSoft and Enix combined companies to make Square Enix. Boom.
To over 100
Boom.
different
A little
countries across
history
the world,
lesson I got.
including all 50
Boom.
United
Little
States.
history lesson.
They run free medical clinics.
So,
they respond to
and
disasters
that
like
happened
the
in
COVID-19
2003?
pandemic, like the
No.
explosion that
Did
just happened in
it?
Beirut.
Yeah, it did.
They are
That
pretty
happened
much
before.
on the front line of helping
one
people
second,
survive
guys. I made a
with their
boo-boo.
medicine, get first aid treatment, get
And then
further aid
Square
than
Enix
first aid.
came out with Star Ocean Till the End of Time Director's Cut in 2004 because I love Star Ocean. Star Ocean is my jam. Though it got kind of bad after at some point. Because it got kind of boring. They changed too much stuff. I like the idea of Star Ocean. Oh, 2009 First Departure R. Of course, it's only on PlayStation. Stupid.
I believe there's a Star Ocean on Switch too. I'm not sure which one.
Oh, you know what? It is. It's Star Ocean First Departure R. It's on Switch.
Yeah, let me double check right now. I think you're right.
The last Star Ocean game to really come out on Xbox was during the Xbox 360. Oh, wait. This is not really important information. If you're already done with your stuff, man. Yeah, I can't even find it right now. Like the last Star Ocean game. I love Star Ocean, so it's like,
Yeah, it's an amazing series.
yeah, it's yeah, but yeah. So that's your. Would you like it remastered? You said or remade for your game today?
Honestly, that is one game I'm so desperate for them to bring back. I will take it however they give it. I don't care.
Me on a platter
Remaster
or
it,
none.
Right.
remake it, port it. I don't care.
Yeah, just give me
I'll
the
take
game.
it. I'll take it any way they would deliver it.
See, y'all making me sound selfish because I'm just like remake. Okay, yeah, I would go for a remaster, I guess, but nah, like you could just remake it and it'd be amazing. You don't have to remake the story. All right, don't go too far because I swear to God, if they take even one character out, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna
Exactly.
lose it. Don't touch the story. Don't touch the
Yeah.
plot. Don't even touch how you go about the things in the story. Okay, I'm not asking you to remake the fucking story. I'm just asking you to remake
Yeah,
the battle
don't-
system and the graphics. That's it.
Yeah, just don't
Yeah,
kill
that's it.
don't kill my original memory of it. And the thing is,
Yes, exactly.
I had one other game, but they already did it. And the other game was Final Fantasy VII.
They switched up.
Yeah,
See,
they're
I
already
haven't-
doing it.
I haven't played it, and it's been a long, long time since I had 4 separate discs and played that damn game. Okay, so it's been a long time. So I don't even like. I remember like core essentials, but like I don't know. I haven't even touched the remake of Final Fantasy VII yet. I heard a lot of good things about it. Saw
Yeah.
some snippets of the stream, but kind of didn't want to spoil it if for whatever reason that I play it. You know, that
Yeah.
I'd be a little surprised and not underwhelmed. Hopefully,
Yeah,
I've heard.
that's how I feel too. It's like, I'll play it when I do. It's like
Yeah,
I won't really watch
exactly.
anything about it. I'll just
Yeah.
play it when it happens. Yeah, it's like, and well, that's I pretty much like, and for my topic, we already discussed like the RPG side of it, games that are forgotten. Kind of just like linked into that too.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't do one thing though. We didn't talk about MMO games. Now, this could tie into both me and Dirk's topic of MMO games we would either like remastered or remade, or just talk about MMO games that are just forgotten. It's just like they're still either online, they're just in its own little world, or they're long gone. Like, I could give you a whole history of them, but for Tennek, is there any game for MMORPG that's forgotten, that you think is forgotten at least, that you would like to see remastered or remade or whatever, or just like have some kind of life breathed back into it?
There's actually 2 I can think of.
Okay.
Because both of them have so much potential, and they're actually here and now. They're more recent games, but I just feel like because of the way that they've been gone about, they don't get the recognition that they deserve. The first one, and this is probably obvious to some people, is Terra. That game needs an engine upgrade, and just the whole mechanical system of it just needs to be rethought. The one thing about Terra that does have is a great story, perfect combat, but matchmaking, there's so many other different flaws with it. They all need to be fixed, reworked, and relooked at. Another game, it was actually an MMO that was brought on console, and the reason why the company made it in such a low quality manner is beyond me, and it's really not even old. It's just the game's fun. A lot of things about it are done right, but it's just it's optimized so poorly, and that's the MMO Onigiri.
Oh yes.
Like, besides its optimization, think of one thing bad about that game. It's the anime action combat MMORPG.
Yep.
Open world, big bosses, plenty of dungeons, fun group activities. It's just very poorly optimized.
Yeah, it is.
And if they could, if they could redo that, those two games, they would probably thrive right now.
Yeah, I agree, especially with Terra. Like, when Terra first came out, I played it when it first came out, when it was in beta, and I was playing it on PC with a little 360 controller. And I thought to myself, why play this game? Why isn't this on console? And it looked great at the time. It was beautiful, right? And then now you play it and it's like, man, I really would love for a graphics upgrade and for them to like go back and like fix all of these things, and it would make the game so much more enjoyable. And I would love it. And I agree, like Terra would be one of the games that I would love to see that happen. It would be nice. Or Onigiri, I played for like a little bit. It's just like trying to get through everything, like the inventory and the UI and everything was just like, oh, okay. Like they kind of rushed it. I could see where they rushed it. I was like, ugh. And I don't think they had crossplay either. Am I wrong or right on that?
On which one?
Well, both. I know Terra does it. The Onigiri one.
Oh no, Onigiri. No, that's funny. The only version of it that does have crossplay is Nintendo Switch and Steam. For why they decided to only crossplay those two, I have no idea.
That's weird. Yeah. See, that's so weird. But all right, yeah. Those are really good games that would probably need it. Like. And Isaac, yeah, as I played MMORPGs since like 1997 on PC. So I agree that like I have seen a lot of MMOs die. Like some of them came out for like a couple weeks and died, like literally. So I have quite a bit of the library myself of what games I would like to see either come back to life or just get redone or remade or upgraded or anything. I have to go find a charger real quick, so I'll be right back because my laptop is at like 8%. So yeah.
Oh no, you're fine.
I'll be right back. Derp, what are some of your MMO games like that you would like to kind of see? Like some of the classic forgotten ones that for a fact people have forgotten about. And
yeah, I kind of. No worries. Go. Do you want me to wait? Should we take like a intermission, or like should I just go on with my blabbering? Yeah, so because I would rather be here for the full back and forth, because my answer I know is going to spark a lot of what you're gonna say, because mine's a little twist. It's not like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like I want it to come back, but I don't, because I don't like the company that had it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like it's a very difficult answer. Yeah, so I would like all of us to kind of be here, because if you come back, you're gonna ask for a recap, and I'm gonna repeat myself for 30 minutes. So, and I need a drink because I'm cotton mouth. I don't know about y'all, but I need some snacks.
No. I literally, I just about ran out of water. This was a full bottle of water. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. So let's take like a quick 3-minute breather, real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Swear I never lied to you. Swear I never treated you bad. See, I would never do it to you. What you did behind my back. Swear I'll never smile for you. Swear I'll never be a fool. I'ma keep me far from you. 'Cause what you did was so closure. Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. You wanted her, so just give me what I deserve. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. Run back to her, 'cause I got what I want, closure. You wanted her. You left me hurt. But I won't cry as long as I give me some closure. Who you think you are. You're lucky that I don't want revenge. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. You wanted her, so just give me what I deserve. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. Run back to her, 'cause I got what I want, closure. Swear I never lied to you. Swear I never treated you bad. See, I would never do it to you. What you did behind my back. Swear I'll never smile for you. Swear I'll never be a fool. I'ma keep me far from you, 'cause what you did was so uncool. I'm not looking for revenge. I don't need you to be my friend. I just want this fake love to come to an end. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. You wanted her, so just give me what I deserve. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. Run back to her, 'cause I got what I want, closure.
Right. Yep, we're back, everybody. We're gonna probably just cut it just a tad short, just mostly because I'm at like 5% now, and the staff is gonna die. Derp, what is the one game that is forgotten?
Yeah, so I was gonna say Dynasty Warriors Online is a long forgotten MMO, right? And I know your question was originally like forgotten MMO games that we would like to see come back or remastered is still online. Obviously, this is not online, but the thing is, like for me, like coming back, it's so rough to say. It wouldn't really be Dynasty Warriors coming back from the grave. Like, and that sounds like really selfish of me, but I would like to see it from a whole different company. Like, I would love a whole different. I don't even care if you popped up out of the fucking woodworks, okay? Like, get inspired by what Dynasty Warriors Online was, and maybe just like throw a little bit of spices in there, and take notes from Conqueror's Blade, because that's a current MMO right now that kind of is up the alley of those that like Dynasty Warriors, like the hack and slash, but it's more strategic. Like, you actually have to build your roster of your warriors that fight for you. Like, in Dynasty Warriors, you have the little people and they just die,
Yeah.
And Conqueror's Blade, there's a whole strategic, like, you have all different types of soldiers that do different things. You have your pikemen, your archers, and they level up and all sorts of things. That would bring more incentive to the game. And Dynasty Warriors Online, it lacked a lot of that. It was more just, lobby driven. You get into a match, you get out, and you're more concerned about your own gear. So if there was a game, let's just say, that came back and inspired off Dynasty Warriors, and we're talking about like the lore, the look, the feel of the hack and slash, but also had a nice blend with Conqueror's Blade, where you're not only concerned about your own gear and your own progression, but if you don't focus on your squad's progression too, of upgrading all your soldiers, or have a choice in what kind of men that you bring into battle to suit your gameplay, you also have to level up their gear and so forth, so on. Like, I think that would be really fucking interesting to see. But that's why I said my answer is a little, there's a little twist to it, because it wouldn't be really it coming back. Because I wouldn't want it to come back from that company. Till this day, KOE is so money. I don't even care, all right, if someone from KOE watches this and gets insulted, okay? You insult me, all right, from charging your games so much till this day. Dynasty Warriors Empires, okay, it's still like $60 Like,
what?
Yeah.
It's just, go look at it. It's ridiculous.
It
like, I
is.
don't like the
Looking
company.
at that right now. What the hell?
And I think it's because I don't know, because they're not really popular over here in the West, and I don't know if they're, over there that they hold much popularity. I mean, they must, but I feel like it's still even underrated over there on the other side of the world. You know what I mean? But here, it's like it's just not really recognized. It's looked as a super repetitive type game, so forth, so on. That's why the MMO didn't do well at all, because they just lacked incentive. Yep. They repeat the same mistake over and over and over and over. And they tried to go a different route with Dynasty Warriors 9. Now, mind you, none of these games that I'm mentioning about they repeat the same mistake. They're not MMOs. They're just regular, games where you can try to play with your friends but fail because their multiplayer lobbies suck shit. Anyway. But yeah, so they keep repeating the same mistakes. Dynasty Warriors 9, that's where they tried to go a different route, and it was more open world, but yet you were stuck to, again, going back to the thing we were talking about before, restraining people. Like, you were stuck to do like every character's story. And so I get their intention of, wanting to, have you like be immersed in every character and what is happening throughout the battlefield and how one affects the other and so forth. So I get it, but it's just they're very restrictive in what they do. So it's like they tried something new, but they didn't let it go all of the way, So it was still your standard repetitive bullshit. So that's why I was like, I would like it to just be in the hands of someone else. It's a gem. It is a gem, and it is in the selfish, money-grabbing hands of someone who's not doing anything good with it. God.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
No, I mean, my games, I'll probably leave for the next episode, but I will give a little bit of hints of what they are. Not really hints, I'll just tell you what they are. Anarchy Online, Star Wars Galaxies, and I have a lot of Dark Age of Camelot. There's one that nobody will know. Saga of Rezum. It's like Ryzom. Razom.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of MMO games that you guys are not gonna know. Did you know, just for like a quick little a little MMO history, Microsoft never really got into MMOs. They tried. The very first game that they tried was called Mythica, and the reason why it never came out was because as soon as they got the name down, Mythica actually they got sued by Mythic Entertainment. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Mythic Entertainment is. Dark Age Camelot was its biggest and only MMO, and they sued Microsoft, and Microsoft's like, whoa, well, we don't want to change the name for whatever stupid fucking reason. They didn't want to change the name. All they had to do was change the name. And so God. Microsoft could never get into the MMO genre. They never, like, the closest they got was Astron's Call 2. I believe they bought that. I don't even know, whatever. It had a Microsoft logo on it, and that closed down. So Microsoft could never actually get inside the MMORPG genre back then. They could never do it. They just kept on trying, and they'd get other games, and it wouldn't work out, and they made a lot of big mistakes. And it kind of shows those mistakes with how they treated video games, too, with Xbox when it first came out, because they didn't take it serious. And then when 360 came out, they took it a little serious, but not enough. And that's kind of a little bit of history lesson on MMORPGs.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, look it up one day. It's still on Wikipedia. Put Mythica. Yeah.
No. Well, what you just said the last bit, where you just said I don't even need to look it up. I like recollect it. As just you look back on our lifespan, and it's like they never had those type of game really in the beginning, and if they did, it was like
Yeah.
like there was like
Yeah.
the RPG Fable was really nice, but did you have anything else aside from that? No. But you go on the PS4 or not the PS4. I'm an idiot.
Sony.
PS. And yeah, Sony in that general direction, you had a roster of things to select from, and that's exactly why I was just drawn more to it. But yep,
Yeah.
just like all of us here, after the course of time, it's just kind of like, I'm not happy with what you're doing.
Yep. And EverQuest Adventures as well.
That sounds
Was
familiar.
only on. Yeah, it was like on PlayStation 2. Was the very first MMORPG to come out on console, I believe. It wasn't Final Fantasy 11. It was EverQuest Adventures.
I remember that.
And yep, not many people played it. I tell you, I have been in the MMORPG genre longer than I care to think about, because like I'm 33 and I've been playing MMO since 1997, and they're like almost close to my age of how long. So
So, like, you started playing MMOs when I started playing Sega Genesis.
basically, yeah, I started with Ultima Online when it first came out.
I was
Yeah,
playing Sonic.
Yeah, and Ultima Online was like $5 a month or something like that, or $8 a month, something crazy. The $15 a month didn't come out for MMOs until it was actually EverQuest 2 fault. It wasn't World of Warcraft. EverQuest 2 came out and jacked up the price from 10 to 15, and then World of Warcraft saw that there was money to be made, or Blizzard, and you can't blame them for this because I don't. They're like, oh, we'll do 15 as well, and then everybody since then started doing 15 because World of Warcraft started getting a lot of subscriptions off that. So yeah, little MMORPG history lesson to close off, because my laptop is at 1%.
Ooh.
So,
Oh, yes.
All right,
Okay.
yeah, wrap up time.
Uh-huh.
yep. So I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. If my laptop does right now and mid speak, Tennek or Derp will take the reins of it, but I'll try to wrap it up as fast as I can. Thank you for everybody for coming out. We really appreciate it. We're just glad to be back. Episode 3, we're hoping to do next week. We'll have a lot more. We'll probably talk about more stuff, actually, because I want to talk a lot about MMORPGs and the history of MMOs. I would like to talk about that, actually. A lot of interesting things people either forgot, don't know, or just forgotten in time. So with that being said, everybody, thank you. I appreciate it. Sticking around for as long as y'all did, because it's been about 3 hours, from 11 to almost 2 o'clock, actually. So, but yeah, everybody, thank you. I appreciate it. For my closing statement, everyone just be safe. I know there's a crazy virus thing going around, and I just want to say ad victoriam. Tennek.
All right. And I want to thank everybody for coming through tonight. Like Setsua said, we'll be having more episodes here really soon. I do apologize again for a lot of the technical issues. Some of them were honestly just things I missed and didn't see in the beginning. But if you missed any of today's episode, remember I'll be uploading it here on my YouTube channel shortly. It should be up sometime later tonight, or at the latest tomorrow morning around 8 a.m. Eastern. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Dirt.
Yeah, I appreciate all of you lovely faces for coming through. I apologize sincerely that I don't have my camera because it just malfunctioned. Like, it was working, we were all set, we were good to go, and then the light stopped turning on. I don't know. This technology just doesn't like me. Yeah, I'm like, plug it in? No. Take it out? No. Plug it back in? Maybe that will fix it? No? Okay. So I'm going to check all my drivers and all that good stuff after this podcast to make sure that next episode, I will be here in whole with everybody, so y'all can see my expressions as I rant and rave about other things. Next week, I might be talking more so about Final Fantasy, because the patch is going to be hitting tomorrow, 5.3. It's going to be full days maintenance, so I'm not going to know what to do with myself. So that's fun. Yeah, I'll probably just, put a footnote on like the things I like about the patch, and so forth. So we can talk about that next week. But yeah, and you guys can see my face. Dab. I love the Skype logo. I know, like it's like my entity. My entity is coming off the Skype logo. It's just you see little like, particles. That's my soul. Sorry. But yeah, also social links. So you guys, you already know. You can find me here, Twitch, TV, Derpie Pandit, Derpie Pandit. Boom. Same thing. Twitter, Instagram. Pick your poison. Choose one of them. I'll be there.
All right.
I just realized I can start calling you Derpie now.
Derpie. One time someone did, and it just like stuck. And I guess it's because of just the way it's spelled. Like sometimes, like some people, they just get it instantly. They're like Derpie, and others they're like Derpie. I'm like, okay, yeah, that works. Derpie. Got it. Yeah. Today was good.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys.
Hold on. Setsuya's like frozen in place.
Oh, I think Setsua.
I think his laptop died.
Okay, you know what? So I will drop Setsuya's links for him too. You can also find Setsua here on Twitch as well as Twitter. And we also have the Talk MMO To Me podcast on Twitter as well. I'm going to try to work really, really hard on an overlay I'm hoping, I'm not making any promises because I got to fix a bunch of other stuff, but for either next week episode or the episode after that, we'll have like an overlay with the social links and the Talk MMO To Me social links. So it'll be nice and easy and it'll just be displayed for you guys to see. And it would be wonderful. He gone.
Oh yeah.
He is gone.
But hey guys, look at the podcast. He went out smiling.
Yeah, he did.
He went out like a trooper.
That's perfect. Like, you know what? Usually you'd be afraid that it would freeze frame at the completely wrong time. And then he's just smiling.
Yep.
It's great. It's great.
Look, he's still with us in spirit.
He's still
But all right, guys. Thank you all so much for coming through tonight. We will see you all in the next episode. Remember, if you missed today's episode, you can catch it on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tennek127. In the future, the podcast will be available on other places as well. More news